In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. What if I told you that $100, the cost of a nice dinner out, could become the first brick in your retirement, your child's education, or even your Hajj fund? Most Muslims believe investing means choosing between two bad options: risky, interest-loaded Wall Street products, or doing nothing at all and quietly watching inflation eat away at their savings. But there's a third path. Halal robo-advisors like Wahed Invest now let you build a fully Sharia-compliant portfolio, screened for riba, alcohol, gambling, and other prohibited sectors, and you can start with as little as $100. Stay with me, because over the next few minutes I'll walk you through exactly how this works, why it's permissible, and the step-by-step system to get your first $100 invested the halal way. Let's begin with the problem, because most people don't even realize they have one. If you're a practicing Muslim, you already know you can't just open a regular brokerage account and buy whatever's trending. Conventional investing is saturated with riba, from bonds to margin trading, to the way most banks structure their so-called savings accounts. Even many safe mutual funds hold companies tied to alcohol, gambling, conventional banking, and adult entertainment. So what do many Muslims do instead? They avoid investing altogether. They leave everything sitting in a checking account earning next to nothing. And here's the painful part: that money is still losing value every single year. Inflation in recent years has often climbed past 3 to 5% annually. That means $10,000 parked in a zero-interest account isn't actually safe. It's quietly losing purchasing power the longer it sits there. 10 years from now, that same $10,000 might only buy what $7,000 or $8,000 buys today. On top of that, there's a second myth holding people back. I need thousands of dollars before I can start investing. That single belief has kept an entire generation of young Muslims locked out of wealth building, while others, with far less religious hesitation, have been investing since their very first paycheck. Add to this a completely valid concern: but is any of this even halal? Nobody wants to build wealth on a foundation of sin. So people freeze. They wait. They tell themselves, "I'll figure it out later." And later, quietly, turns into years, and years turn into a lost decade of compounding growth. Here's the truth: halal investing isn't impossible, it's just rarely explained properly. Most people have simply never been shown how it actually works, and that's exactly what we're fixing right now. So let's ground this properly. Investing itself is not haram. Islam actually encourages the productive use of wealth. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was himself a successful trader before prophethood, and his wife Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, ran a thriving trade business. Islam doesn't ask you to hoard money. It asks you to circulate it responsibly, and even discourages hoarding through the obligation of zakat. What Islam prohibits isn't investing itself, it's specific mechanisms within investing. Let's break down the big three. First, riba, or interest. Any fixed, guaranteed return on lent money is prohibited. This rules out conventional bonds, interest-bearing accounts marketed as investments, and companies whose core business is charging or paying interest, such as conventional banks and insurers. Second, gharar, or excessive uncertainty. This covers overly speculative or ambiguous contracts, things like certain derivatives, options trading, and short selling, where the outcome behaves more like a gamble than something tied to real underlying value. Third, haram industries. You simply cannot knowingly invest in companies whose primary revenue comes from alcohol, gambling, pork products, conventional financial services, weapons, or adult entertainment. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Scholars have already developed clear, published screening criteria for stocks. A company can still qualify as halal, even if it holds a small amount of incidental interest income or debt, as long as it stays under specific thresholds. Commonly, interest-bearing debt under 33% of market capitalization, cash and interest-bearing securities under 33% of market cap, and revenue from non-compliant activities under roughly 5%. And if a small amount of impermissible income does slip through, the answer isn't to avoid investing altogether, it's purification, calculating that small percentage and donating it to charity, something many halal investing platforms now handle automatically for you. This is really the beauty of Islamic finance. It isn't anti-wealth, it's anti-exploitation. Halal investing asks you to build your money the same way you're asked to live your life, with intention, screening, and accountability. Once you understand these rules, the fear disappears, because now you know precisely what to look for. So how does this actually work with just $100? Let's build it out, step by step. Step 1. Sharia-compliant robo-advisors. This is the easiest entry point for beginners. Platforms like Wahed Invest, along with fund families like Amana Mutual Funds, have already done the screening work for you. You deposit your $100, select a risk level, conservative, moderate, or aggressive, and the platform automatically allocates it across a pre-screened, halal-compliant mix of stocks, sukuk, and gold. Step 2. Halal stock screening apps. If you eventually want to hand-pick individual stocks through a low-cost brokerage, apps like Zoya or Musafa let you search any ticker and instantly see a halal or haram compliance rating based on the same debt, cash, and revenue thresholds we just covered. Step 3. Fractional shares. And why $100 is genuinely enough. You no longer need to buy a whole share of a company. A single share of some large companies can cost hundreds of dollars, but fractional investing lets you buy a slice instead. So with $100, you can own a small piece of several halal-screened companies at once, instantly diversified, rather than betting everything on a single stock. Step 4. Dollar cost averaging. This is the strategy that makes small starting amounts genuinely powerful. Rather than trying to time the market, which even professionals routinely fail at, you invest a fixed amount consistently. $100 today, then $50 or $100 every following month. Some months you'll buy high, some months low, and it evens out over time while removing emotion and guesswork from the process. Step 5. Understanding sukuk, the Islamic alternative to bonds. For the more conservative portion of a portfolio, sukuk represent partial ownership in a tangible, income-generating asset, real estate, infrastructure, or trade, rather than a loan-earning guaranteed interest. Investors earn a share of actual profit generated, not a fixed interest payment. Step 6. Don't forget zakat. As your investments grow, remember zakat applies to your holdings too, typically calculated at 2.5% of the zakatable portion each year. Most halal platforms now include a built-in zakat calculator to make this straightforward. Put together, this is the complete system. A screened platform, fractional shares, consistent small deposits, and purification built right in. That's how $100 stops being too small to matter and becomes the first real brick in a lasting halal financial foundation. Now, here's exactly what to do this week, in order. 1. Choose a halal platform. Wahed Invest if you want a hands-off robo-advisor, or a low-cost broker paired with Zoya or Musafa if you'd rather pick your own stocks. 2. Set your risk level honestly. Conservative if this is money you genuinely can't afford to lose short-term, moderate, or aggressive if it's long-term money you won't need for 5+ years. 3. Deposit your first $100. Not $1,000. Not once I have more saved up. $100. Right now, today, kept intentionally small, so the decision is easy to make. 4. Turn on automatic monthly deposits, even just $25 or $50, so dollar cost averaging starts working for you immediately without depending on willpower. 5. Calculate your zakat annually once your holdings are established, using your platform's calculator or trusted scholarly guidance. Here's the honest truth. This isn't really about the $100. It's about breaking the freeze, proving to yourself that halal wealth building isn't complicated or forbidden. It's structured, screened, and fully within your reach. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. So always do your own research and consult a qualified advisor or scholar for your specific situation. If this video helped clear things up for you, hit subscribe. I'm building a full series on halal personal finance, covering investing, retirement, wills, and even buying your first halal-financed home. Small, consistent steps taken with the right intention are exactly how lasting wealth is built, inshallah. And drop a comment below. What's been stopping you from starting with your first $100? I read every single one, and I'll try to answer as many as I can in the next video. May Allah bless your risk and make it easy for you to earn, save, and grow it in ways that please Him.